Boom, baby, we're live. What up, what up, what up? It is me, MLD, and I'm here with my good friend Paul from Apex Mindset. And today we're going to be talking about mastering the art of persuasion. Paul is a longtime friend of mine, and he's honestly, I said it once, I said it twice, I'll say it again, I'll say it forever. I think he's like the best one-stop shop for masculine self-improvement across the board. Fitness, making your dick bigger, dick game, seduction, deep seduction game, cold approach, which nobody fucking does cold approach. We're already demonetized. Whatever.
So crazy. They don't do that.
Nobody does cold approach, like the whole 9 yards. So welcome aboard, my friend. Welcome aboard.
Thanks, brother. That's a pretty awesome intro. Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. Definitely. I just thought it would be nice to hang out on a Saturday because I'm home. I'm just staying home and chilling Saturday, and you're waking up at the other side of the globe Saturday. So it's cool to hang out and be on the internet and talk about things to help guys out. You know what I mean?
It is. We've been doing it for the longest time now as well. That's, we've been doing. How long have you been part of the Masculine Empowerment Network?
Oh God, it was pretty. I think was it your second year that you had it going on? When did you start Masculine Empowerment Network? What year?
2019. I think 2020 is when you came along.
Yeah, it was 2020. Right. Yeah, it was 2020 because I got back from Afghanistan and we started to become friends then towards the end of my tour and then in there. And that was when I got into Rule Zero and they were like, I don't fucking know about this guy, Yeah. Everybody on Rule Zero, everyone in Rule Zero is like, I don't know about this guy. You know what I mean? And then it worked out. Like, now I'm cool with everybody. And so, and then we became friends. And then
I thought I don't know about this guy was about me.
Oh, no. That was me. I think you were like that. Who's this fucking guy?
This guy talks a lot, but
yeah,
he's fucking white and he's smart and he doesn't give a shit if anybody doesn't listen to him. I'm going to listen to what this guy has to say. And here we are.
At the time, I had like 200 people on YouTube subscribed and 10 people watching my videos. It was like nobody watched me.
Your content is so good. I just, you know what it is with today. And Paul and I were just talking about this offline. Like there's so much noise out there disguised as masculine self-improvement. Right. There's there's military code, like there's information and then there's intelligence.
Right.
And there's so much information floating around, like just noise. Everybody's like,
too.
Yeah. And everybody has like just bad information. And when it's the blind leading the blind. And when you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know if somebody's good or not. Right. I talked to this guy. He was doing coaching with a YouTuber. It was daily accountability coaching. And I was like, how much money does this YouTuber make? And like, what does he do for a living? Like, oh, he's just quit porn and he's like working on NoFap and he's working on building his YouTube channel up. And I was like, dude, who are you? Why are you giving this guy authority over your life? Like,
right. That's dude, that's so funny. That's the crazy thing, right? Is the authority part, right? The authority over your life. It's like, it's not, there's so many people now that they're regurgitating things from other YouTubers and other courses and, they're all stealing from each other and all this. And they don't have any direct education or experience in the area or results in the areas that they're coaching in. They're just taking information and then regurgitating it as a script for click ads or YouTube videos. There's nothing underneath that. Like, all right. So like for me with like Persuasion, I have graduate school in psychology, was interested in that stuff. And then I worked with military psychologists and worked with the DOD in special missions to collect intelligence as a human intelligence collector and got trained by some of the best people out there in persuasion, to meet with people in foreign governments and foreign actors and get them to do things that they ordinarily wouldn't do. We'll keep it there, right? It's like, in some of that stuff, dangerous to them, right? Some of that stuff, getting somebody to turn somebody in or kill somebody that they know that's on our target list or whatever. Like, these are all things that are high high stakes, and so like I have experience in that, which was what made me think, let's talk about that, as well as psychology and mindset and stuff, right? And I'm educating myself both formally and informally. It wouldn't occur to me to be like, oh, I'm going to come out, let's say 5 years ago and be a finance expert or something, when I was just a military guy with very limited experience in investing in finance, right? That would be crazy to me to come out like that. But that's what people are doing nowadays. It's like, it would be just like if I just read some finance books and binge watched YouTube, ripped off everyone's stuff, and then advertised a channel for finance with no background or experience or proof of authority. It's really what it is. And a PhD or a title isn't necessarily proof of authority. It's just proof of I've gone to school for something. But proof of authority would be results in a particular area. Even a coach who coaches, several people to success or whatever, and they're not BS testimonials is something, it's something, a level of proof. But people are just so lost and willing to follow anything that hits their dopamine receptors, from clever editing and music and B-roll or whatever, and it's all chat GPT and AI generated regurgitation. Crazy.
You know who Nick Fuentes is?
Yeah.
He recently had he recently had a debate with this kid called Dean Withers, right? And this kid's like this try-hard little liberal weenie.
Sure.
And then the kid is reading, like trying to debate Nick Fuentes, but then like being notes fed to him, and he's reading a script from Chat GPT that's open during like the live debate. And it's just like, this kid only wants clout. He doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about. And he's 19. He's a 19 diehard liberal who thinks Trump is the bad guy and the J6ers were all part of a insurrectionist. I'm like, dude, you're so fucking stupid, but you're so arrogant into thinking that you're right. And yeah, that's exactly what we're at. But when the blind's leading the blind, it's just like fuck, like, like how do we even fucking remedy this,
No, right. It's crazy. I mean, as human beings, we're social animals. We're meant to connect with each other and get reads on each other, understand a social dynamic different than a computer could, and then be able to have discernment. I'll never have the memory retention ability of Chat GPT, right? I'll never be able to put together a bunch of stuff that's been on the internet as efficiently as Chat GPT. But what I will do better, at least probably for the rest of my lifetime until they improve that technology, is discernment. Knowing what's important, what's not, and knowing what's going to get you somewhere and what isn't. Like, that's the part that the AI system cannot really replace yet. You know what I mean? And probably won't be able to. It sounds simple, but it's very, very complex to have to discern what is useful out of this information, what isn't, in a meaningful way. And so I just, people need to understand when they're paying for services, to get results in their life, they need to have that. And that's a human being, not somebody who has no background, is ripping stuff off from everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, so I want to ask you some questions, and then, we kind of rode the wave before it happened, the whole red pill wave. Like, the whole world at one point was kind of like on the red pill wave, which is a wild time to be alive. We both made, pretty big names with ourselves in that space, and I think we're both respected. But one thing that I've noticed is, since starting, and this, maybe this doesn't tie into mastering persuasion, but I still just want to ask you as a content creator.
Sure.
It's my show, and the fucking 7 people watching, you can fucking tolerate it.
The other people here that are bored on a Saturday night just hanging out.
Well, I've noticed that a lot of guys, in my opinion, have kind of checked out. They just have given up on everything. Is that am I reaching? I have seen guys like give up on the girl thing, and I don't think they categorically understand how badly they are cooked with
Right.
trying to, like, one, just find a good woman, and then two, lead her consistently over a period of time on a
Yeah.
happy journey for the both of you with your, improving as time goes along.
Yeah.
How many
Well,
guys
yeah.
have that ability? What
So,
percentage?
gosh. I mean, at least a third of everybody is checked out as men, at least 1/3. And I think it's growing. We can look at that because a third of guys are not having sex with women. Like, right. And so, like, a third of guys aren't in meaningful relationships or having sex. I think that's the status, right? Or the stats. So, like, that's an indicator of being checked out. Now, I think that more than that are checked out, but are having subpar relationships and sex. So they wouldn't qualify as the 1/3 of like incels, but they're just as checked out. They just happen to have a girlfriend that they don't like very much, and she doesn't like him very much, and they're just kind of like skating through life, right? And looking for means of escape. And I would say that would bring it up to 2/3. It's probably only 1/3 of guys that are actually trying to get dialed in. And then from there, it's probably out of the total 10% maybe that actually seek some real results and start seeing it,
How many
So I
guys do you
think
think
that
that naturally have the ability to go cold approach a woman, seduce her, and then put her on his game plan, and then both swimmingly go along? Out of the whole U.S. population, what percentage of the men you think can do that?
5%,
What's
maybe
up,
5%.
motherfuckers?
Get money.
You're looking at part of the 5% here, boys.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe 5%. That could confidently do all of that for sure.
Good point,
I think
right?
10% could. There's another 5% that would do it and maybe try it, but they're not quite sure what they're doing and might fail. I feel it feels like, or seems like, based on just random data swimming around in my head, which is obviously not very scientific or whatever at the moment, but I've read enough things. It's educated guess 10% would cold approach, and there's probably 90% that won't even approach. They won't even make the approach. And then out of that 10%, maybe 5% or less will actually, do it in a way that's successful. You know what I mean? And so I think, and that I could be being optimistic. I tend to be optimistic with numbers because I don't want to be the guy who says, "Oh, only 1% of guys will do it." You know what I mean? Without any proof, right? But I think if I'm being optimistic, it's 10% of dudes would make the approach, not necessarily know what they're doing, but would actually try it, maybe randomly. Which is not very many guys, right? That's not very many when you think about it. It's not nobody, but it's not many, And so, yeah. And here's why I think too, though, right? So it's like, I think what's happening is guys are checked out because people, and girls are checked out in a different way because they're getting right. Well, yeah, morally, mentally, they lost their souls in college, right? But
they're they did a survey recently. The most unhappy person used to be the liberal man. Who's taking that from him now?
Oh, the white chicks.
The white liberal woman is the most unhappy person in America. Chronically unhappy, and because she's drugged up on antidepressants, and this is the end result of feminism that they wanted.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and it's, what are they actually doing? The guys and the girls that are checking out in different ways, they're getting more indoctrinated into the simulation. So as technology has rose, we have more avenues to plug into a screen somewhere and less avenues to experience real life with real people out in the world, out in nature. And in fact, a lot of these girls, especially the pretty ones that thrive on internet clout, they can't even go enjoy a hike out in nature without taking their phones out. Right. So mentally, they're in the simulation. Even when they go out and do stuff, they are not unplugging their brains from a simulation of life. When you get on Twitter, that's a simulation of things that are happening in life. It's not real. When you're watching shit on even YouTube and stuff, it's a simulation. Technically, we're talking about life more than experience it right now. We're in that simulation. But the difference is we're encouraging you that after the show to unplug from this shit and go experience things.
Yeah.
People are doing that less, and they're getting their dopamine and their natural instincts to make connections and their natural instincts to sort of chase motivation and goals and different things through the simulation we've created. You know what I mean? And it used to be that simulation was like your urban areas kind of big simulation, like a concrete simulated ground that's created by people. You're driving along it, which is kind of a it's a mechanical thing projecting you forward versus a living thing or your body. Like we set up, even pre-internet, we had degrees of separation from experiencing ourselves in nature and experiencing those real connections, but it was easier to still experience that pre-internet. Now the internet's been, of course, here for a while, and we've developed more and more of a world behind a screen. Some people have entire avatars, and they live an entire different personality in different forums, in different meta universes, all kinds of shit, video games. Some of those things are fun, can be entertaining, but they're not unplugging from the simulation and experiencing life. And that's why they're not going to get real girls when they're simulating a connection with an e-girl, right? And and that feels better than the rejection in their minds. They've polluted their minds to feel.
I said it last night, like because we have these little narcissistic homos running around, and guys and girls, and then one girl rejects them, and then now their heart is broken, their ego can't tolerate it. So what do? I gotta take steroids, I gotta look smacks, I gotta I gotta become the perfect, most narcissistic icon that I can be. Right. And it's completely the wrong way to go about results. And that's why none of these guys are getting results. Like, a lot of guys tell me, like, oh, I saw all these girls are looking at me. I'm like, dude, success in seduction is binary. Are you having sex with a lot of attractive girls? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, you're attractive, you have game, there's proof of concept in your work. If not, you need help. You're not going to figure it out on your own. Statistically speaking, I didn't figure it out on my own. Paul didn't figure out his own. Okay, you're not going to be figuring it out on your own. And you're not going to get high-level results. And statistically speaking, you're actually, not only are you not going to figure out, you're going to fail.
You're going to fail.
You're going to fail.
You're going to fail. And here's why you're going to fail, right? Like, we left an environment where we went from, we're talking most of our history, polyamorous tribes into harems, right? So we were harems with the agricultural revolution, which meant 60% of guys weren't having sex with anyone. Between 60 and 80, that next 20% were managing to get laid sometimes, and then the top 20% had enough resources to have multiple wives, and they were spreading their seed. So we had the harems, and then that channeled. Sorry, so that
the harem guys.
That's us, right? It's exactly us. So that channeled itself, though, into, as society became more peaceful, because areas today like Afghanistan, where they still have polyamorous, harems, right? Very violent cultures there, with a lot of dudes joining the Taliban, wanting to fight to get clout so they can get pussy, right? Like, because most of the guys can't get girls, because the ones who can have resources, and they get 2 or 3 wives. So as we became more peaceful and created more rules, we instituted, a couple thousand years ago, the idea of monogamy, and that grew and grew. And we could see the height of that, like, let's say the 1950s, where a guy would meet a woman and they would get married and have, that was what you did. And you could have no game and no real understanding of female nature, and still managed to get married and have kids and do all that in the 1950s, because society was thriving on the family and promoting monogamy. That was the social programming. Well, what's the social programming now? It's feminism, it's strong, independent women, it's not having family. It's not, it's not pairing off into monogamous relationships. And so we've moved into a female or gynocentric world where women are the selectors and guys are really the slaves in that world, and only a certain percentage now are going to get picked to mate, right? And so now we're going back to harems almost, where in the dating market, you'll have a guy who's got which us, right? Well, 2 or 3 different girls we're having sex with.
Right. Asking this tying in earlier. How many girls messaged you a DM Merry Christmas?
Oh, yeah, 5, 6, a little handful. But I mean, I've isolated myself with my relationship.
No, of course. But that's, I mean,
I'm still getting those DMs.
Yeah, there are still girls that are thinking about you on fucking Christmas. The average guy's phone is like, just notifications from social media. Nobody really contacting them.
Right.
And tying back into the harem thing, right? I've been saying this, like I've said this, and it's happening faster and faster. But the guys who do have game now and like still take care of themselves, look good, and like, just give an effort, like women are hungry. Like the even women who are, like 28 to like 36, if they take care of themselves, like they're still fine. And these women are still out here looking for dick. And like,
dude,
I'm getting cold approached and stuff,
Yeah. I cannot believe, as ugly as I get every year, like I am, right? Like I just am more and more like the Thing from the fucking Fantastic Four every year, and more pussy is interested every year. And it's young girls, dude. Like, I don't mean super young, I mean, but like 25, year olds, 24, 23. It's like, what?
I'll handle them. I'm like the epiphany phase Leonardo DiCaprio. I get him like 20, 30, and then I dump them off.
Yes, that's been my program, 25 to 30.
Yeah,
that's been, and then I just set them up for the rest of their life.
Yeah, it's a humble work, but
right? I just humble them by breaking up with them before they're 30, and then I go on to the next one. It's fine. So I make sure that they have that one that got away, so they're traumatized and they don't leave their next guy, their husband. I'm trying to help Ben out. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a consequence though of the marketplace we're in, and too, is that women by and large don't fix themselves, don't change anything. They're addicted to that simulation. I mean, guys are too, right? But like, I'm not dating guys, I'm dating women. So I see what women are doing to sabotage the relationship. And, you get to a point where you don't want to take it any further with them. And that's just the way it is. And why would you, when you have other attractive options who are at least better potential, because the one that you're seeing has demonstrated she's not good potential over maybe 2 or 3 years. You've noticed her not move in the direction you need versus, out of her own capabilities and upbringing and mental framework. It's kind of like, why am I going to continue this when there's somebody new? Now, it's not necessarily the answer, the right answer, but that's just the society we're in, and the point of it is like, guys who think, because the social programming is, if a guy is a good guy and toes that fucking line and does everything the women want, that he's going to get married and he's going to be happy, and he'll have that happiness of being a good guy and having that marriage and having that wife and kids and all that stuff. Statistically, that isn't even true anymore. Most of the guys are not meeting that person, and the guys that do are divorced to that person and finding themselves in resource slavery after 7 to 10 years or so of and a few kids. That's the script now. That is not everyone, but that is a higher percentage than half, right? And so if you add up the over half that end that way, divorces, and then add up the guys who can't even get there, naturally speaking, following social programming, relationships are failing, period. Period. You're either settling in with something you're not really that happy with, but you can ride it out till you're dead, or you're in something that's going to break soon at some point. Now, we train guys to step out of that programming. And when we see girls, we take them out of that programming because we have frame and we can develop and design any life we want. There are happy marriages out there. There are happy relationships who do things differently than everybody else because everybody else is failing. So if you're going to get different results than the failures, then you have to do things different. And we train guys to do things different so that they can design the life that they want and have women in their lives. And, hopefully they'll have that legacy partner at some point and, grow old with that person if that's what they want. They'll have that because girls want out too. These girls are fucking miserable. They don't want to be there. Never saw my divorce coming. Yeah, of course. I know, man, because there's no benefit for her to stay married anymore. Once the oxytocin disappears over time, so how the typical relationships go, we're not designed. Hey, I'm going to go back this up now to evolution, right? We're just on rants on Saturday. So we're not designed for long-term relationships. You got to understand that. We're designed to be dead from tetanus because we stepped on a fucking sharp thing at 28, 29 years old. Okay. We could have lived to 70 if we didn't get a disease or get killed by a predator in the caveman times. But most of us died way earlier because we didn't have medical care and there were a lot of dangers out there. And our kids died half the time, infanticide or rates of kids dying was super high back then because of the lack of medical care and safety. So we have to understand, like, our evolution is not for your happiness and success. Evolution is for propagation of the species. And so when you're in an environment where people are at high risk, die early, monogamous relationship that lasts till you're 90 years old is not where your brains are wired. Your brain is wired to mate switch because if you have genetic diversity over a period of time, then that's more likely that you'll have kids that'll survive and move to the next generation. If you bang men and women, yeah. This is and so we now men, though, here's what keeps men attached for longer, and men are capable of being more attached for longer, is we get a vasopressin dump with our attachment, where women do not get that. Women get vasopressin for children. Okay. Vasopressin's that love and caretaking hormone. It makes you want to take care of somebody. All right. So when a guy feels like he wants to take care of his girl, make sure she's good, give her orgasms, make sure she's happy, all that bullshit, right? Do that vacation that she's always wanted her entire life, or whatever. All those things us guys do for women, that's our vasopressin. And there's a myth that alpha males don't want to take care of women because they're so alpha, they have all these sexual options. That's actually bullshit, because alpha males often have with a large vasopressin dump, get very territorial and very like, I'm going to take care of my tribe. You know what I mean? Like, there's alpha males that are like, I'll fucking, I'll take care of my close people, my friends, my family, anybody that, violates that, I'll fucking murder them, dude. Like, you know what I mean? There's alpha males like that and they absolutely will take care of women, and that can get them in trouble too, right? Because the girl doesn't want to take care of you the same way you take care of her. She doesn't get that neurochemical reaction. So we get attached that way. We get the dopamine rush of getting the girl and getting the orgasm, along with the oxytocin and the vasopressin that causes attachment, and then beta endorphin that causes us to feel a sense of security and good feelings with being with that person over time. And they get, you know, the little bit of testosterone spike with sex and dopamine spikes with sex, and then they get a big oxytocin dump, and they get that beta endorphin as well. So we're almost identical, except men have the vasopressin. Here's what happens over time, though. Over time, the oxytocin level, and they can tell baseline oxytocin level of somebody within the first beginning of a relationship is higher in the bloodstream than a single person. Over a period of a few years, for most people, baseline oxytocin level is back to that of a single person. This is why it's back to that of a single person. So somebody who's been in a relationship
for how long?
It depends on the relationship and the person, but generally speaking, after 2 years, you know, they're probably getting closer to baseline, which means and this is why we know, even though it doesn't have to be this way, by the way, there's solutions here, but we know that for most relationships, and this is why the conventional advice is you have the honeymoon phase, you guys are going to be really attracted to each other, this and that, but then that's going to go away, and then the love is going to be different, and all the stuff. That narrative is there because that is true, that is what happens. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be true, though, because we can do things behaviorally to change our neurochemical reaction and keep that desire going, which is what I teach dudes to do, what you teach dudes to do, what we recommend. But, you know,
what would you say are some things to keep the oxytocin going?
Yeah, uncertainty is the key. Uncertainty. So the best, without having to go through an entire course or your masculine empowerment network, where they'll learn some of that stuff in some of the sessions we're going to do. Right.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second here. Good segue.
Yep. No, it is. But
is it being consistently inconsistent?
Unpredictability is what I mean, not inconsistency. Unpredictability is what I meant to say. Unpredictability is your key to spiking that oxytocin. And this is why women are attached to toxic relationships, because the guy in the relationship dynamic gets unpredictable. And then this will reward a guy to be more toxic with women, which I don't recommend, because that will then eventually implode on you. And the amount of impact on your life and your success can be really detrimental too, when you're constantly into a toxic relationship. But it's rewarding for guys when they realize, I keep this girl in check and keep her emotions high when I'm erratic and I'm, you know, love bombing her, then kicking her to the curb because she made me mad, and then she's doing the same thing to me, right? So this is where that happens. But we can create that unpredictability without it being toxic. Usually it's just by chasing excellence. Like when you're chasing excellence and you're trying to have a vibrant, diverse life where you're accomplishing a lot of things, that means this week you might spend a lot of time with her, but next week you're out of town. You know what I mean? We're going to do something here, then we're not doing something there. You want this? I just told you no, because it doesn't fit my fucking goals yet. But then maybe she gets some other things she wants next month, right? There's an unpredictability when it comes to chasing success. And in fact, arguably, a person's success is kind of predicated on how well they manage emotionally, handling the unpredictability, because you take risks like you're risk taking right now in crypto. Some people cannot fucking handle that. That you just told me the different sweeps before this that we got on the air of where your portfolio can go, boom, like how those huge oscillating jumps and stuff. You happen to have very good emotional control when it comes to finance.
Despite popular opinion, I do have good emotional.
No, but when it comes to finance, definitely you definitely have it, which allows you to be successful. You can manage that unpredictability at an emotional level. Success requires unpredictability because we're pushing ourselves to do something better and different with our behavior, which then creates different reactions, gets different results. We don't always know what those are going to be. So anybody trying to achieve something, you can have consistency in your schedule, and you can have, discipline, and you can have like security, right? I'm not saying like the unpredictability should be I'm homeless and now I'm a millionaire, now I'm homeless. Like that'd be crazy. You can have some security and stability, but there's a level of unpredictability with how your life is going. And that is how you become successful. And that is how you spike that oxytocin on a regular basis for the rest of the life of the relationship, even if it's 30, 50 years.
So basically, everything I've been saying on my YouTube channel is right.
Yeah, pretty much. That's probably well. And in the red pill circles, they talk about dread, right? Well, all dread is creating unpredictability. What happens when she has a sense of unpredictability is, oh my gosh, I'm sexually ignited again. My desire's ignited. I end up, having a sense of worry and threat that he's going to go away. Then I get him back and my dopamine spikes. Oh shit, I haven't had my dopamine spike like that in a while. We have some sex, and then now it's oxytocin again, because it seems to be that the dopamine of achieving something along with the sexual connection and the orgasms is what causes a larger oxytocin spike.
You know what I fucking hate too is like when people in the red pill advise guys like, oh, just be average, just get a $60,000, like, and I'm just no, that's terrible advice. You should be striving for more as man. Like this was the norm back in the day. Every guy had a dream. Every guy was striving for something. He was trying harder. Everybody now has like this existential depression. And it's just like, dude, there is opportunity and money everywhere in America right now. But you're too fucking clouded in your smartphone to go out there and see it. There's so much fucking opportunity. You're just not looking hard enough. And you're just not looking hard enough because you just don't want it bad enough. You're comfortably numb. And then so you come get this like, feel good drug of like watching certain social media things, like
right,
the way you cope. It's a coping mechanism, quite frankly.
It is a coping mechanism 100%.
For you not after your dreams. And it's I sound like a dickhead saying this, like it's comes off harsh and direct, but the reality is like, you guys, if you don't like start living up to your potential, every year that goes by is just going to get worse. You're just going to get worse and feel worse, and things are just not going to be going the right direction. Like, you have to take control of your life, otherwise, because your default is straight to failure. That's financially, that's relationships, that's with fitness, getting fat, And Paul, I just turned 39, right? And I'm like cautiously like waiting, like, okay, when is the day like girls stop getting interested in me?
No, look at my big fat head with no hair right now. And girl, just yesterday I hung out with my brothers, and the waitress is like, hey, like hanging out with us, like ignoring her other customers. And, well, do you live in the area? Like opening me. She's 24, I'm just like, and I'm not, obviously a waitress gets paid to serve you. So a lot of guys misinterpret those signals, but I know the game. I know the signals. This was definitely right. So like, this is there. And then of course the other place where it was just another person, she was a bit older though, but still, you know what I mean? It was like same thing, opening our group. Like I'm in a relationship, so I'm not trying to open anybody, and I'm getting that shit. If I was opening, forget it. You know what I mean? Like, forget it. Fucking closed deal. I would have had a couple of fucking.
The thing is, like I before like 10 years ago, you couldn't catch me dead in America. That's why I left, right? Because the woke shit was just I think the woke shit peaked in like 2018.
Shut up and take my money.
I think women are making a social media trend of getting back in the kitchen now.
Yeah,
right. And nowadays, if you find an American girl that knows the game and is down and she knows her part, like, she'll get right to work because she knows exactly what the fucking time is. Because I'm not trying to pair up with some fucking bum ass bitch. That's another thing. Let's talk about this real quick about being a high standards guy, high quality person. What a lot of these girls don't realize is like when they fuck with us, like we have standards, and no one has ever held them accountable in a relationship before. I think what percentage of women you think have been held accountable in a previous relationship before?
Oh, they're not. And when guys try to do it, like they take control of the frame. They use emotional manipulation, and guys are not equipped to handle that because they're being conditioned that if they make a girl feel bad or sad or angry, then that makes them an abusive bad man, right?
And they try to frame that on you too. I got to give Clary his praise when he's like, no, we're not crying right now. This is adult time. This is adult time. We're not crying right now. We're having a conversation, and you need to snap out of it. And if you could be a man that can like talk them through their crying too, because I've done that before. I'm like, you can sit there, you can cry, and that's fine, but you're wrong, and crying is not going to get you out of this. And we're adults here, okay? And there is rule and order in this kingdom, okay? And you can't just be doing certain things and expect me just to.
If you're gonna cry, you're getting back in the dungeon. Give me something to cry about.
But the emotional women are so good at that. I see mothers do it to their grown men, son. Like when something happens that the mother is like unhappy with, she'll like throw a fit. She's like, "Oh, I can't believe we're having this," and then everybody's like, "Oh." I'm like, do you guys realize you're dealing with like an emotional tyrant? Like that's tyranny.
Yeah, of course.
Like that is a form of manipulation.
Terrorism, how people call
it. Yeah, that's like tyranny. You know, I don't give a shit. No, and that's the thing. Guys gotta check these women. That's you know what the problem in America? It's a land of women unchecked.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. And so they're simultaneously offended, shocked, appalled, and attracted when their guy tells them no, or the guy doesn't allow themselves to be manipulated by emotions like that. Because think about it. How are you going to protect her from a home invasion, a predator, go out and face the world to bring home resources if you fold under emotional pressure from her? Now, I know arguably those two things are not the same thing, and there's a lot of guys could do all those things and they still fold with emotional pressure, but her chimpanzee brain, her mid and lower brain doesn't register that. When you fold and cave in to her emotional manipulation and turn into yes dear, anything you want, and start blubbering and apologizing, her pussy dries up, turns into the Sahara Desert, because it's like, I cannot have kids with this person. Her ovaries are like, stop it. If you have babies with him, they're going to die because they're going to be weak. This guy is a danger and a threat to you now. Like it's, and then they feel they have to control more because they realize the guy that they're with is a danger and a threat because he's weak. So then they get bitchier and they get more controlling when you go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry when I whatever, didn't text you back, I don't know, whatever, think of some scenario. Didn't bring you flowers like your friend did their person on Friday.
One time we were something about her like consistently being late or something, and I needed to talk to a girl about it, and she started crying. I was like, you're crying? I was like, I should be crying. I was late because of you. You made me late. You're just crying because you feel bad because I've been telling you have to change this. One thing that I don't like, and I often say this to the girls, I'm like, sorry doesn't cut it. Like, we need to change our behavior. Like, sorry is not a solution to you always engaging in this problematic behavior. Like, we need to change. And a lot of girls don't get that. Like, right. I don't know, man. Like, I understand to a degree while Myron goes off on those wild ass tangents on fucking freshmen. He's like, women are fucking stupid. They're just these dumb bitches. And it's like, to a degree, but to a degree also, when you look at the bell curve, right, we got to realize 50% of all women are idiots too. Like, they're 100 IQ or less. You know?
Right.
So
Well,
I
yeah, that's the challenge too. Is a lot of people are really not smart enough to think around some of these things. But
real quick before we get, because we're coming up
yeah,
at 45 minutes here,
yeah,
guys, just the Masculine Empowerment Network is there, and Paul is going to be giving 2 special speeches there. As you guys know, if you've never joined the Masculine Empowerment Network, I assure you, come through and you'll get life-changing opportunities presented to you. Like with this information here, you can get the girl, you can get the right mindset to get the success you want. I mean, we have like a solid team. Paul's going to be speaking on the 13th. He's going to be talking about sexpionage, social game, and then again on the 16th with sexpionage, inner game. And you have to have strong inner game to really go out and get out there and get a bunch of pussy too, quite frankly, guys, because women will default to you. I'll go into a juicy question here with Paul here in a second, but real quick, guys, go scan the QR code, go to this website, you can click here to access. When you sign up, I will get you shouted out here live on the show. And shout out to Richard Brown, who just signed up right now. Shout out to you, Richard Brown. Join the Telegram chat. Jump on in, Paul. So you've had so you've had threesomes, foursomes, orgies before, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
which don't involve men, by the way. My version of that.
Yeah.
Just so for the audience who's not indoctrinated yet, this is not a fucking 5 of my dudes hanging out with like some girl I met or something, right? This is a handful of girls and me, so that's how this is gonna go, right? So yeah.
What I've had, I've had a threesome, and I had like me and 4 girls before, and so when this happens, it's funny. Like if you don't have rock solid inner game to be like, all right, you come here, you do this, you do this. Like if you don't orchestrate it, it doesn't really happen. But it's so funny. Once you start calling the shots, it's amazing how women, just no matter the context, they sense authority, they fall in line. Like, you come here, suck my dick, you come here, I'm gonna make out with you. And you direct the whole thing. And the same thing in the office. Okay, you go file those paperwork, you go scan these brochures, whatever, you go call the fucking president. But you have to, as a man, this is why leadership comes into play as well. Inner game comes to you guiding yourself. When you have the confidence and strength to guide yourself in life, your directions, like the way you want to go confidently, and you succeed, that's how you build aura, right?
Yeah.
And when you build aura, people will start to naturally defer to you. How many times you've been in a room, Paul, and there's like a group of strangers, and then like, there's like a decision they need to be made, and everybody just looks at you and like, what should we do? You're like, that happens often, right?
Sure, it does. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. Like, I still do work with the military, and oftentimes it happens with people way above my rank, and stuff like that, who are more career, and I'm more just a, National Guard reservist type now. So I'm not like trying to, I'm not trying
machine. That will
I'm the person with answers. I'm one of the people with answers. There's quite a few. I'm definitely one of them, though. But yeah, absolutely, it's that authority, man. Thank you, bro. Well, here's the thing too. So so people aren't like misunderstanding, because I know that this is going to be there'll be a naysayer here or there that thinks it like this, right? Which is like, well, a lot of degenerates and fucking, jackasses can go out and get women. Yes, that's true. That's not saying those guys have great inner game. It's just that those guys don't give a fuck. To be a guy who's not a degenerate and who actually has a conscious and actually has a strong need to develop himself and be something in the world, for that guy to now go face the rejection of women, that takes the inner game. A degenerate who doesn't give a shit about anything and just gets high and drunk whenever he wants and doesn't, and just tries to go off and get pussy, he's just an animal, responding to his dopamine, short-term dopamine, hedonistic needs and stuff. There's something to be learned from that animal, for sure. But that's, I agree, for those naysayers, no, that guy does not necessarily have the inner game you want to emulate. But we're not talking about you being that guy. We're talking about you being a successful person, trying to figure out what your purpose is, your place in the world, what kind of friends you want to have, what kind of life you want to lead, you know, how you want to impact the universe, and then you're getting pussy. You know, then you have girls that want you. Girls are not going to automatically want you because you're doing those things. That's a myth. That's not how it's going to work. All right. You have to obstruct and remove all of the inner game things that you have in order to be this person who is chasing value and also wanting women in healthy relationships too, whether it's casual and you guys are just dating and screwing, or whether it is a, you know, long-term thing. Whatever you want, you have to have inner game stuff sorted out. And that's why I'm excited about this masculine empowerment network, this particular one, because guys are getting smart now, at least our circles that we talk to. So the audience right now, you guys are getting wise to the fact that inner game is the key to success for all these things that you want. So now I can talk about the sex espionage stuff and deep persuasion and how to persuade others and how that's important when it comes to the skill set. And in another session, talk about the inner game stuff that's going to be an obstacle for you to execute the skill sets. You see, so there's the skill sets, and then there's getting in your own head and fucking up and not doing the skill sets. I get to talk about both now because people are understanding. Before, like a couple years ago, it was like, yeah, inner game's cool, but how do I get the girls? How do I get the money? How do I get the thing? You know what I mean? It was like inner game's cool, whatever. It's like I have to say it's cool, but really it's not that something I'm that interested in. I feel like now 2025, you guys are more evolved. You know, John and I have been preaching this now for a couple of years, and you guys got the message, which is that this inner game shit is the key to everything you're after. So now we get to do this next cohort, and I get to tie those two things together. And I'm like super excited about that because it's a higher level conversation than what I've been able to have in previous, you know, networks. So it'll be pretty badass, I think.
It's really, I don't know. You know, the one thing I say to myself is I'm just so happy that with the person I've become. Like I've inadvertently realized I've won my own self-acceptance.
That's
you
great.
know? Yeah, it feels good. And it's funny. And it's funny, the more, okay, now this is going to be more like esoteric and kind of woo-woo-ish, but I feel like a lot of the reason why I was plowing through so many girls was to cover for some inner game insecurity. I think for sure.
For sure. That was for me. That's my story, definitely.
And I was really insecure. So I banged a lot of girls.
Well, yeah, dude, that was my thing. I mean, I was the tool for the government, you know, and then and I didn't have much money. I didn't have much to offer in my own mind other than to go do shit, went out for the military. So in between stuff and all that, and when it was like, what else do I have to develop here? You know, what else do I have to offer? Oh, I can fuck a girl until she, you know, goes crazy and you know what I mean, and passes out. Like, awesome. Well, I could go do that. That's what I'm gonna go do, I guess, right? I can make girls have these wonderful ecstasy level experiences and have those for myself, like, and then that's addicting too. So I ignored facing my hard challenges to chase excellence in other areas, and this is a decade or more ago now. And instead I was chasing pussy, right? And that was not the way to go. Right, not the way to go. Oh, hey John, you're mute, I think.
Check. How about now?
No, you're good now.
Okay. What I was going to say, this is going to sound like a fake YouTube makeup thing we've just been talking that's everywhere, but a lot of guys who are like high level guys but like have like issues internally, they use like a lot of promiscuous sex as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, they do. Well, it's like, using women to measure their own value.
Yeah, it's like a compulsion. It really is like a compulsion, a sexual compulsion. That's why these guys have the drive to like do cold approach and stuff. Because all the guys I know that have done really good cold approach, they all have like, you know, they like, I know one guy that was like addicted to drugs and prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's traumatized individual, to say the least.
Some bad news people out there who they're just being degenerates and learning pickup skills from them, if they even work, because sometimes they don't, and that's by design to keep you coming back to their programs. But if they even work, it sets them up for failure in other areas to their life, to then keep falling back on gathering new pussy as the solution to their problems. It sets them up for a series of, year after year, not progressing in other areas like they should, and being addicted to basically female validation. The real mastery is being able to have great experiences with beautiful women, have great relationships, whether they're casual or long-term, and maintain your purpose and sense of self and your impact on the world. You know what I mean? Not need validation from women while being able to have great experiences with women at the same time. There's an inner game aspect to this that if you neglect it, you're going to find yourself in a pile of trouble. You really will.
After I worked through a lot of my big problems with you in 2021, I was like, I'll never forget it. I went on a date with this Japanese girl. This girl's so fucking hot. She was 24. And I remember we just went out, had one drink, like brought her back to my place. And this chick was just smoke show. And I was like 36 at the time. And like zero resistance to anything. I could have fucking shot her. She would probably said, but she would have been okay with it. She was so compliant, which, compliance is like a high indicator of attraction. The more attractive she is to you, the more compliant she's going to be, because this is in female nature to be submissive.
Right.
And and just the quality of woman after that. And now, like, I don't even have the drive, because I've exercised the demons. Like and honestly, though, but a part of it is, so Bill Burr mentioned this. You do need to fool around a little bit, as much as you can, in my opinion, and get it all out of your system, so it's fully out, and you can be like, okay, I can enjoy a day of fishing.
This is what you needed to do, John. I think as long as a guy is experiencing life to the fullest and happy and having happy relationships, it doesn't matter to me how that guy gets there. If that guy's lucky enough to meet a good LTR, and he's, let's say, a religious guy who wants to marry and be monogamous and have children, and that happens for that guy, and it happens early before he rolls through 100 women, God bless him and good for him. If he's still going to have to learn skills, right? Seduction skills and frame skills, because a woman will have an edge on him in those persuasion and skills, and she's looking for him to lead, and yet she's going to have an edge, even if she hasn't been through a lot of guys, just because women are used to learning how to manipulate men, right? So he needs to learn skills, even if he's the guy you met, that great LTR early. But that guy, is few and far between. Most of you guys are going to have a lot of experiences before you really understand women. And that's okay too. It's not trying to add notches just for the sake of adding notches. It's having meaningful experiences so that it enriches and makes your life better, whether it's at one date or whether it's a couple-year relationship and it ends, or whether it's, the person you want to have kids with and it lasts a long time, whatever. You enrich your life with good relationships, whether it's sex with a couple hundred women or whether it's sex with 5 women, doesn't matter. But you have to be developing the skills and having the right mindset and experiencing life. And some guys are going to have to do more than others. You and I had to definitely do more than others, but I'm not going to, it's up to the guy, but at wherever he's at, there's always going to be a limitation, right? A guy who's only slept with a couple women and now he's trying to get married to somebody or whatever, and that's his belief, he's going to have huge gaps in understanding about women and skills. He needs to learn that shit or he's going to be in trouble. A guy who's been through, 50, 100 notches, he's going to have fucking trauma from dealing with all these fucking women and their mental problems and all kinds of, when he finds an LTR, he's going to have to deal with stuff as a consequence of having had some of those bad experiences, and his mental framework and inner game there. So no matter which direction a guy is in, he's going to have to work on himself. That's the thing that we have to do as men. We have to work on ourselves. The quicker people realize that, the better off they're going to be at having a great life. You know what I mean?
I just think too, like when it goes back to the reason I said like go through a lot of the reps is just because like what you did said, I'm jealous of those people. Like the guy who met like his really super hot, like low body count looking chick when he was like 21 and they just got married and had kids.
Right.
That's not a bad life at all. But for the regular people, not regular, it's just, that's just like a luck game really. But the average person rather, from like a statistic standpoint, like they just gonna have to put in reps. Like that's why guys like, because recently, so I'll tell you something I've done. Recently I did like a 20 plus something marketing survey call within my community where I gave guys a free consultation for an hour. And I just got to hear out all of their, desires and stuff. And it's funny, every guy wants a girlfriend. No guy I talked to wanted to be womanizer and date around.
Right.
And these guys were talking to like 1 to 2 new girls per month, thinking that this is how they're gonna.
I do that in a week on accident. At least in a few days,
like bumping into a girl and then fucking convenience. Oh, sorry. So what's your name? Oh, you're not interested. Okay, well, I'm gonna go buy this bag of Cheetos and go home.
I mean, if I go to my up north place in the winter where there's a population of 600 people in the town and I stay away from everywhere, I'm talking to at least 2 people a week. Brand new girls, right? Or chicks that are of mating, like at least that in a low population, desolate area in northern Michigan, right? Like that, I almost feel like they're trying to not talk to women, but I see that too because that's my perception of it. But I got that same feedback from guys too, and that's one of the things I'm always having to tell these dudes is like, dude, get your fucking reps up. Get out and talk to people, dude. Get out and make real connections with real people. It's so hard for guys who are plugged into the simulation. You know what I mean? And
I don't think you guys realize like how good having a steady inflow of sex, either through one girl or multiple girls, it's just good for your mental health. I swear to God, it is. There's got to be some kind of science backing up because I feel great after. If I'm not having sex, I get grouchy.
Yeah, for sure. It is good for your mental and physical health. Having that connection 100%, so the key is to have that connection in a way that it complements the rest of your life versus becomes a hindrance. That's the key, right? So like that guy gets in that bad relationship and his fucking girlfriend or his wife is a drain on his resources and his emotional, energy and time. Like, yeah, he might be getting some sex from her, but the trade-off in that case isn't worth it. So the goal is to like have a good relationship where she enriches your life, or have several girls you're dating and they complement your life. You're having a great time achieving and bettering yourself in all other areas. The sex you're having and what comes with it elevates you versus becomes a hindrance. That's the real skill set that so many guys just don't have it because they're making a trade-off. And we've all found ourselves there, myself included. Usually it's a relationship that starts to go south and then you don't want to break up yet, but then you're figuring it out. And then, and then next thing you know, it's been 6 months of draining your resources, time, energy, and she wants to have sex with you because you've pressed all her buttons. So you're having the sex, but the consequences aren't as good. And when it gets to that's when it's time to change things. Right. Yeah. But that's the real skill for sure.
I used to be optimistic about the future of America in regards of not economically, but like guys making a comeback. But after 5 years, I've got to say they're cooked.
Yeah, most guys are, but that's
But it's
not
good for me because that means I'm gonna have pussy to the day I die. I could go
right.
back to America and clean up.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. And you know,
Oh,
don't be fat. Have your shit together. Have a little bit of game. That's
yeah.
it. That's
Yep.
it. That's
No,
literally
for
it.
sure. It really is. And get out, get away from the simulation and connect with people.
Yeah.
Girls, they don't know, but they don't realize it, but most women are actually starving for that connection in any way that they can get it. They're starving for that opportunity to get pulled away from the simulation, from their social media, from the, you know, structured environment that's been laid out for them to live in. They want somebody to take them out of that prison and go on adventures, whatever, what, even if that adventure is just a cup of coffee at a boutique little coffee place or a walk in the on a trail. They, you know, or then you tie her to the tree and, you know, have and those things. But this is how I do hikes. So, but you know, it's they want that adventure and that sexual connection, and they want somebody to pull her away. You know what I mean? From that, and it's super easy. It's you know that movie. I talked about this on actually with my my mastermind guys in a coaching call, but you know that movie Big Fish.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know. A lot of
With
people won't know the
Tom
reference.
Hanks.
I don't remember who's in it, honestly. But here's what I remember about Big Fish. That this guy was like, I don't know what the fuck he was doing, looking for something, and then he saw the shoes that were up on the wire before he entered that town, and then that town was like this oasis where everything was perfect and everybody was happy and life was like this amazing thing. It's like this little spot that you had to find, but once you found it's like you didn't want to leave it because everything's perfect there and the rest of the world's all fucked up and you have this little oasis. That is what we're training guys to create for themselves. That is what you have to create for yourself, however you want to do it. Whether you live in a big city, whether you live in the country, whether, you know, whatever your social circles are, whatever your hobbies are, whatever women you have in your life, you create an oasis. The rest of the world is burning and on fire, and people are addicted to the internet and on, you know, having mental health issues and taking drugs and for it, right? And you know, fucking abusing alcohol, abusing prescription drugs, trying to escape because everything's on fire and everything's in hell. And you have created, because you've unplugged yourself from that social programming and that simulation. And so you create this oasis of this is what life is. And when you bring a girl into that frame, she ain't going to want to leave. Trust me. You know,
No, Is it
yeah.
is it partially due to the stability there too?
Yeah, part of it's stability, and then the other part is that
Emotional stability, financial stability. Just know there's like a sense of peace because of what you've cultivated.
right. It's that emotional human to human connection, and then you start, because they're with you, and in order to be with you, you, whether you're trying to or not, I do it intentionally. I know very well what I'm doing, but most people though have just a sense of here's how I want my life to go, and they got to see, you got a set of morals and beliefs and stuff that are separate from the rest of the world that's on fire. You start implementing those ideas, she starts adopting those ideas, seeing that these ideas are useful and agreeable and something that she wants to be a part of, and so she starts changing the way she thinks so she can be in this oasis with you instead of thinking like her ratchet girlfriends, thinking like these idiots on social media, thinking like some fucking woke troop or content creator or political figure or whatever, like all that stuff that's designed to keep them anxious and unsatisfied so that they buy more shit and work harder in that programming. you are setting up a set of morals, beliefs, and just way of seeing the world and living that is separate from that. And it's just it's a secondary effect of being with you, going on dates with you, having fun with you. And so that allows her to start wanting to design her life differently, you know?
Having
Yeah, exactly. Right.
having a rare thing these days, guys. Having a backbone. Having a backbone, you guys. Because it's amazing what these guys tolerate. And then like when you hang out with some of these girls that never met a guy like us, right? And
Right.
they get insulted when you don't like obey them. I'm like, I know usually you hang out with these guys, but
Yeah.
I'm not that. And they don't know how to confront that when it's one-on-one, the girls.
Right.
They're not gonna try to talk their way out of it.
Yeah.
But they like that you have the audacity to do it.
Oh yeah.
But the indoctrination thing you're talking about there is so fucking true, because I actually put that in one of my
Your mic's doing weird stuff again.
oh shit. I put that in one of my courses, and Teachable Bandit. I had to like build my own website. I'll show you here. Because what you said about the indoctrination.
Yeah. They fucking dude. It's crazy how these platforms will censor you like that, man. I've been having pretty good success at school and having that not happened. Kajabi was okay too when I was there. That was this thing, dude. I ran into that with a couple of sending out my newsletter with like emails and stuff. If I talked about certain things, they would want to censor it, or they wouldn't. There's an email I had advice to guys on dating and stuff, and they were not going to do it. Like they wouldn't let me send the email out or whatever. And I'm trying to think,
Wait,
was
this MailChimp?
No, it wasn't MailChimp. It was it was one of my first ones I had. I can't remember which one it is now. It's slipped my mind. It's on the tip of my tongue, but yeah, it was like they censored it, and I was like, get me out of here, dude. Like, get me off. I was so pissed. I'm like, I'm paying for this service so that I can send out my stuff to my guys, right? My audience of people, not audience, but clients, not even audience. It's clients of people who want to get this advice and feedback. And you're censoring me? Go fuck off, dude. Like, I'm just like, get me. I dumped that service so fucking quick and was like, I mean, I'll dark web this shit if I have to. Like, you got to be fucking kidding me. But that just goes to show, though, man, like big tech and all that shit, they're censoring ideas because they want to go with what's acceptable and what's not, because what's acceptable is going to promote their bottom line versus violate their bottom line. And this is how you need to look at it. The best thing for big tech and for big box companies where you order shit online. I love Amazon, but as a service, but Amazon is one of them, right? Your Walmarts, all that shit. The best thing for them was fucking COVID. Okay. Forcing people to stay at home and having them be emotionally unstable and not have real human connections causes you to dump your money into shit you don't need so that you can be happy. You have to see where it is. This is where the money goes. So anything that's socially acceptable that these companies are going to not censor and promote are going to sound good on the surface, but going to lead you to failure at the end of it. 100%, because it is better for the economy if you divorce 3 times over, split your money in half 3 times, have to buy new places, have to get new things for the new places, have to, put money into the system in different ways. You're going to spend more of your money and have to work harder now because you're further enslaved versus peacefully being in a relationship. And say you're a family guy, you have the relationship, a couple of kids, and you don't divorce. Or maybe for those who don't want to go that route, never getting married and never splitting your resources like that and living in a modest place that you're happy with, putting your wealth into things you really believe in. Like, that doesn't necessarily help the companies that want to take your fucking money. You know, it's not, I hate to sound conspiratorial or something, but it is just what is happening. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? And they used to keep us imprisoned through the American dream of corporatism and family life, but that was better than what we have now. Now it is keeping you in prison through anxiety and emotional distress. Right?
They got me in prison sometimes.
Gets everybody, you know? Gets everybody.
Do you want to see the module that got me banned?
Yeah, dude, for sure.
It's because I talk about indoctrination. This is from the dark past. Harem.
Okay.
So watch this here.
The sister method. Nice.
You could tell me, you can give me a critique. You could break down my here.
Yeah, this is my first time seeing this, so.
Method. Okay. So every girl that comes in to your world, into your frame, and who is eventually going to be part of your harem, you have to put her through the sister method. I'm going to explain what the sister method is right now. Okay. First things first, pretty simple. Seduction. Okay. You're going to bring her on a date. You're going to seduce her. You're going to have a nice time, right? This is where game comes into play. You got to know how to go out there and meet girls. You got to go out there and know how to have a good time and make sure you're having it on your terms. You're not being any supplicating. You're not there simping for her, paying for stuff you shouldn't be paying for. Okay. It's seduction on your terms, because how you start is the frame she's going to associate with you. And seduction is the beginning. And once you have sex with her, once you penetrate, that is when it gets serious. Okay. So seduction is the first step.
Secondly, now she has an STD.
No, around and wanting to be a
now she's trauma bonded to you because she has an STD.
Right.
Part of your life comes
bam, HIV. No, just kidding.
Indoctrination. This goes back to you being self-righteous in your frame. You're going to have to start teaching her your way of living, your boundaries, what you view as okay, what you view as not okay. This is a form of seduction in itself, and it needs to be done over and over and over again, so she slowly gets rid of her frame and starts adapting yours. Because with the modern man right now, what they do is they succumb to the woman's frame. The modern guy simps for her. The modern guy gives away pieces of himself by giving up his frame and submitting to hers. And what's funny is he does this in his mind to keep the girl around. But all that does is signal to her he's a weak man and he's not the best possible choice. And she's eventually going to cheat or leave, if not both. So you have to indoctrinate her in your frame. And this is endless indoctrination. It doesn't stop. You need to consistently let her know what you like, what you don't like, and you need to enforce these things. And this goes on forever. Okay. Part 3 is servitude. Okay.
So they didn't like the fucker, indoctrinator, and now make her do your fucking underwear, laundry.
So far, so good.
That's everything you literally just said, like verbatim is what you just said. You know, I was talking about, but they can't handle the heat, bro. But yeah, if I was president, I would force every man in the fucking country to watch this shit.
Seriously. Well, it sounds from the outside looking in, like it's some kind of cult-like control or something like that. But here's where I'm going to have a red pilling statement for anyone who's thinking that. Somebody's going to watch this video and somebody's going to think, well, that's like almost like how an abusive relationship or how somebody in a cult would control like their subordinates. Okay, that's what they're going to think. And the thing is, here's what I'm going to say, because my frame material is the same. So it's me too. Okay, I'm not alone. It's both of us. Yeah, that's correct. That is what would happen in a cult situation. Here's the difference, though. The difference is it's done consensually, and both people in the relationship perceive the benefits. There isn't deception or manipulation to, indoctrinate somebody into the frame of a relationship. All right.
Overt explanation. It's like, no, this is how
yeah.
we do things, or you got to go.
Right. I want a girl who does, when I'm working, if you're not working and you're staying home with me, I would hope you would keep my house clean. You know what I mean? For example, right? Like this is not a divisive thing, but we're so programmed to think that male leadership and leading a relationship is somehow abusive. It's not abusive, right? Now, you could do everything on this list in an abusive way, for sure. And how that's done is through deception and lying and manipulating. And that's done, which then now she's not really consenting, you know what I mean? And coercion and pushing, offering things and then threatening to take them away, or, using even physical violence and some of these things. Yeah, that would be by definition an abusive relationship. But ironically, because I had to ask, this is an interesting thing, and it's you guys ever, it's an older videos, but they're still good.
It's not bad though. You want to watch the other half? We can keep going, but we have
we can watch the other half. I was gonna I'll say this real quick. And so my frame series on Apex Mindset YouTube, okay, it's free, you can go watch it in the playlist. I studied and looked at, because I was fascinated with the Manson family, right? Not because they're people I want to be like or anything, but Charles Manson was a dork. Okay. He was a fucking dork who was 5'3". He reminded me of like a goth kid. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you're not cool. You're just wiry, weird little guy. And then he had harems of women following him, to the point where they would put X's in their head, knowing for sure this guy was going to prison for the rest of their life. They'll put an X in their head and stand by a side and sing songs on the outside of the courthouse, dedicated, and would do anything this guy would say. And I thought, like many of you thought, well, these women are probably just fucking mental health issues and dysfunctional women. No, some were. But some by profile came from good families, came from wealth, even came from supportive parents in some of the cases. Like, each individual had a different psychological profile. You couldn't identify necessarily from their background why or how they would be indoctrinated into a cult. So what that made me realize, and then I started looking at other cults and other women and, getting involved in this stuff. What it made me realize is that this is part of the human condition, and how people would sort of bond with a leader and follow a leader. There must be principles that would work on anybody that are being used here, that in this case of the cult, it's being used abusively, but this would actually work, though, for maintaining leadership in any kind of relationship dynamic, because part of who we are as human beings, right? So yeah.
And anyway, part of my indoctrination is like, don't be an alcoholic whore. Like, which is good advice. Which is good advice,
or just normal stuff. You're saying what I want for a girl who's going to be with me long term, and they are having to challenge some of their behaviors. Hey, you know what? I don't really want a girl who has a bunch of guy friends and hangs out with her ex all the time. Okay. If she's that girl, guess what? If she's going to be with you, she has to change that behavior. That's part of indoctrination. And where I call it just programming. They have a social programming that is flawed and will steer them into a feminist dystopian fucking world where they're going to want to kill themselves. All right. You are offering the oasis. So you have to reprogram or indoctrinate them to new ideas. So this is all very good. And some people, like I said, they're going to go, oh, this sounds like, a cult thing. It's not, because it's consensual. girls who do this with the right guy are happy. You know, they're glad, they believe in it. You know what I mean? They're like, my life sucked, and everything that this man that I'm with is leading me to is much, much better. And of course the girl has input. Of course the girl is a support figure. Of course, you know, sometimes she might have a different idea or disagreement and she's actually right. And so you change your trajectory and you do what she's thinking because you're the leader and you made that decision and she had a great idea. Like, it's not an abusive relationship. It's a good relationship where the man of the relationship is leading, which is what they're going to feel most naturally drawn to. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, it's good stuff.
You know, it's shout out to everybody watching on Rumble as well. I wrote some bad words in the chat over on Rumble. Go follow me over there. No, man, listen, bro. Listen. I am saving these girls. I am slightly deterring their path of destruction to something a little less destructive when they're done with me. Because a lot of these, like I said, a lot of these girls are like unkempt animals out here just running around being wild as hell, bro.
You know what I hope for? I hope that women watch this. They're not going to. But we got like 1, maybe 5 total that will watch this. But shout out to our girls that are watching this. But I hope that women will see that list. It would be nice. This will never happen, but it'd be nice if they could see that list and think to themselves, I need to find a guy that's good. I would trust to lead me in that fashion. And I need to think about what kind of a girl I need to be for that guy to want me to be in that relationship. And so I could trust him to do that. Think about it, if the guy's a good guy and he seduces her, indoctrinates her to new ideas, she's serving him because she's adding to the relationship. That doesn't mean, of course, he's doing nothing for her, right? She's being trained on a different way of doing things, and there's consequences if things go badly. That's your enforcement. And I'm not, you know, if all those things are there, like with a dude that's worth it, fuck, what girl doesn't want that? That's what she needs to think. Not, oh, that's control, I don't want any guy, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, bitch, you're gonna be fucking unhappy and figuring out, like, never figuring out why you're unhappy for the rest of your life.
Well, one thing I heard the Tate say that I think Tristan was saying it. He's like, we'd never get mad at these bitches. Like, they got no fucking hands. These girls got no hands. What's she gonna do? She gonna beat me up? You know? Shut up, girl. You know, get out of my house before I call the police. They drag you out. You know?
Jesus, that's funny.
How many? It's funny that it is fucking hilarious, right? This bitch got no hands. She's got no fucking hands. What is she gonna do? You know?
Oh man, those dudes are funny, man. I don't care what anyone says.
That is funny. But you know, they need it. But I'm honestly, because you know, I'm probably gonna come back to America and buy a house, right? Yeah. And a couple years ago, I'd be like, I don't know. But now, like, I see how America is. Like, these girls don't even know how to, like, when they encounter a guy like us, they don't even know what to fucking do. They're like, okay, I guess I'll just go along with what he says.
Dude, it's like literally shooting fish in a barrel, to use some crazy military analogy. It's so easy. It's so fucking easy. And it's like I have to discipline myself to not do it. You know what I mean? But it's, you have to see this code, though. You have to see it and be able to recognize it. I use it like this as an example because I do a lot of walking around in the woods, you know, because I enjoy myself doing that.
I'm fucking Tokyo'd out. I hate the city. I'm jaded from, like, you know, neo-techno whoredom.
Jesus. Yeah, no, fuck that. I like a good wooded area I could get lost in. Now, here's the thing. When you get good with like land navigation and you can go through the woods and you see things that other people can't see. So like a person who doesn't walk in the woods very often, it all looks the same and they get lost. But when I walk through the woods, Afi's the man, dude. Hell
Offie is
yeah.
the man. Offie, look,
Got that. He's going to
got
be
so
in the
much
Master
respect for both of us.
Network.
We both saw his name and shut up. We're like, all right, I'm just
We have to stop.
Offie's
Moment of silence for the man over here.
for a real motherfucker.
Real
I love
motherfucker.
this guy. I love Offie.
I know.
And that's,
And
you
so-
know, that's the thing too about the just about the Masculine
yeah.
Empowerment Network is how, like, when we get to meet up and hang out with everybody, we've never had a bad event. We've never had a bad apple show up.
Nah,
Everything
never.
has been super, super cool. It's a solid, real group, and I like having, you know, about having that base in America. I'll be able to do more meetups in America faster too. Not like
That'll be
once
fucking cool, dude. That would be really cool.
yeah,
And
we
so
gotta build
back to walking in the woods though, right? So like
Yeah.
the average person walks in the woods, they can't see what I can see because I do it and I understand things like terrain and I understand how to look for landmarkers and to look for, you know, even to use the stars or positioning of the sun to get general directions and stuff like that. Like I'll see more than the average person and not get lost, where the average person, it all looks the same to them and now they're lost in the woods, right? Well, this is the same with seeing with a girl's responses and seeing a girl, the difference between someone who's attracted and someone who's just being nice and someone who's not really that attracted. Like you see it just like I can see, or someone skilled can see the trees in the forest and navigate their way back. You can see female behavior and human dynamics as you get good at it, right? You could use an analogy of any sport. Like, for example, I watch American football. I see the plays and what's going on and stuff. I'm not like crazy fan like my little brother is. He sees more than I do. Now, my other little brother is a soccer coach and player, which European football. I enjoy watching it. It's fast paced. I have no idea what the fuck's going on though. Like he knows though, he can see what's going on. He can predict like what's going to happen and shit. I have no idea. So human behavior is the same as those analogies. Like when you get good at understanding human behavior and learning how to seduce women and having and seeing and watching and observing those reactions, you could go into a small town with like only 2 or 3 sexually marketable girls. You're getting them. I've experienced this shit when I travel for military, dude. It's like, how am I getting that? Like, I'm not Mr. There's better looking people out there. There's people with more value, but you see it. You see when they're attracted. You see that communication. You know when to say, what to say, and how to just kind of draw them into that connection with you. And that's a skill set. You know,
it is a skill set. It's like this thing, like a lot of guys, they'll meet a woman that is very attracted to them, but then they don't know how to engage in the dance or seduction, and then they drop the ball.
Yeah,
and that happens a lot,
all the time,
a whole lot.
You know,
here, Offie's here watching. Let's see what Offie thinks about this. My favorite part, I'm going to break it down here, is the servitude, because I like them breaking their back for me personally. Because you know why? Because when she's washing my clothes and cleaning my house, she's not out there hoeing or spending money or, you know, eating something.
She's
that's
becoming more attached to you when she does those things. That's what people don't realize.
Yes,
she's not resenting it if she's doing it because she wants to.
Yeah, she's doing it because she wants to. You know,
she's more attached to you by doing things for you, not the other way around. A lot of guys really have a hard time understanding that. You know,
there's no free lunch. The way we're running our things, okay? She has to work for everything in this relationship. And that ties into investment, which we'll be talking about in a later module. But servitude is absolutely a mandatory requirement because it's going to help her feel like she's contributing to you as well. Another thing is this: servitude.
Tell me if you think it get too sinister or too dark or toxic too. I want to get a full breakdown here.
Okay.
Is a filtering mechanism, because if a woman doesn't want to serve you and take care of you, she's a bum. She's a loser. She's going to be a drag on your life. And you.
True or false? Is that too
so
toxic?
True, dude. That's so true.
Yeah. No,
so
I
true.
can't. I can't be living with no slob, bro.
Yep.
I always say there's only room for one degenerate in a relationship, and that's me.
Now, what I will say, well, maybe I'm saying it too early, so we'll continue. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, let's let it.
I don't want to say it
getting
too
your
early.
goals, your vision, your mission, your life purpose. She is only going to slow you down, if not block you completely. You have to be a man. You have to be strong enough to tell them you need things done and tell them how you want it done. Okay, if a girl comes over to my house, she spends the night, we sleep together. I always tell her, you better make the bed. One, if she says, no, I'm not going to make the bed, I know she belongs to the streets forever. She's a streetwalker. And quite frankly, she has no place in my life other than pump and dump and max. Okay. Two, if she does do it and she does it incorrectly, I'll be like, hey, thanks for making the bed. Looks good. Here's how I make the bed in my house. And I'll show her. Maybe she folds the blanket over the pillows. I don't like that. I like the pillows exposed and I like the blanket folded back a little bit.
I'm very particular about how I like my house cleaned as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I am a clean Nazi. I am.
Right. Right. And that's there are different ways of doing this now. That's the thing I was going to mention. So my way of doing it, just because I don't like having to micromanage as much. And so my way of doing it is, at first I'm dating a girl. I don't make them do anything. This is my way now. I'm not saying that this is wrong or you're wrong.
Free sauce.
Ways. But when if a girl spends the night, I take care of things like whatever, like a guest, right? And I don't ask her to do shit. What I'm doing is I'm observing and seeing what she's going to do naturally. I want to see, is she the type of girl who's like, hey, I'm coming over. Do you need me to bring anything or stop at the store? Like, I want to see if she's that type. I want to see if she's the type that's going to start like reorganizing like something or cleaning something for me, or all right, I'll cook dinner even and then leave some shit out and see if she does dishes for me in the morning. I'm vetting, for that. So that's just yeah. Oh, your mic again, bro.
Yeah. A hot girl recently failed the dishes test with me. I did that. I said we made dinner. I was just like, we're just gonna see if she says anything. I was like, oh, this lazy bum.
Yeah, and so I want in that, because I'm also dating several women usually when I'm single. So I'm gonna try to pick the one who has that natural tendency to want to do things to serve me, and then I build off of that. Then it's like I start telling her what I would want better. I'm not that particular about how she makes the bed, but if I were, I would tell her how to make the bed better. It's exactly how you did. My intermediary is I'm screening first. That's the only difference. But it's still good, and you have to. Girls don't know how, like, if you don't let a girl serve you and let a girl serve the relationship, it can get really, it will implode. It will fucking
Tombstormer. They're not doing dishes for you, buddy.
Yeah, I hate to say it, man. Like, yeah, they're
not doing dishes for you, buddy.
And and sometimes though,
these girls washing dishes over here, pal. So
yeah.
No, you can do it.
Yeah, and division of labor. Like, I don't care if a guy wants to do the dishes, but she does 10 other things in the house, and that's who cares? It doesn't matter. What matters is that she's serving you and serving the relationship. Because if that is such a key component, if she's not doing that, it is definitely going to implode. I can promise. And here's how it'll implode. Either you're so high value and you're one of those guys who hires a cleaning lady, hires shit out. She doesn't need to do anything, right? Like, so this is not most of you, but this could be me if I wanted it to be that way. In fact, it has been. Or if I got someone cleaning the house, I got everything taken care of. Well, if I don't give her something to do to serve the relationship, what happens is she starts to question her value in the relationship because she doesn't know how to show value to me. And then she gets insecure and threatened and dread, And now she might even resent sex, you know, because it's like, oh, am I just a sex object to you? Even though I'm having fun during sex, that's what I want too. But, you know, so she starts to wonder, like, you don't need me. You know what I mean? That's the feeling she'll get. So that's one extreme. Or the other one is you are sending messages to her that she is better than you. So it's one of two things. You're either sending a message to her that you don't need her at all, which is going to be too much dread. You don't need her, but you would like her to be in your life as a compliment. That's the message you want to send. Not just like, I don't need you and go fuck off somewhere, right? And so that's one thing. And then the next thing is, you know, yeah, clean ladies are great. The next thing is like, that's for that smaller percentage. The big percentage is you're going to send the message that you're serving her because she's better than you. And we know hypergamy exists. And so all those attractive feelings she had for you will start to get confused now. And she'll start to get entitled and start to think that she's the better person in the relationship, and her desire and attraction for you is going to drop off. And so it is a recipe for disaster one way or the other. If you don't let her serve you, first pick a girl who wants to serve a man and or serve people in general, because you're going to have a better time, and then train her, teach you how to serve you, because she wants to know how to add to the relationship, especially if you're a high value guy and you have everything, you don't need anything. And you convey that. Like, I really convey the message, I don't need shit, because I kind of don't, right? So that can be very terrifying for a girl. She can't manipulate me in any way, shape, or form, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you know, it's you have her, you show her how she can be a compliment, and have her do it and hold her to a standard. You know what? They like it. They like that dominance.
He likes the game too. He says here, right here, the game was top tier. He's watching us on the TV.
Oh, nice, dude. Nice. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You want to continue watching?
Yeah,
you
dude,
want to just
let's go.
let's go. Let's. I want you to break down my game. I need you to give me validation. I'm empty inside.
5-star hotel, because I'm living that hot dude life. I'm living that luxury, baby. Okay. You got to let her know what you want on your terms. If she does it correct, be sure to let her know, hey, this is great. This is how I like my bed folded. You are awesome. Give her a hug, give her a kiss, see her on the way. Okay. We're going to go into a little bit more detail later in this course, but a lot of guys think that, like, oh, I'm just going to be this alpha male guy and I'm just going to treat this woman like fucking dog shit. And then she's totally going to stick around no matter what, because I'm the alpha male and I'm God and I'm Jesus and I'm Allah, whatever. Doesn't work like that. Okay. These chicks are humans and they have feelings and they do have self-esteem as well. So you can't just go through like the whole relationship not rewarding good behavior. It doesn't work like that at all. And that's what we talked about in the frame as well. When they enforce your boundaries and they stay in with your frame, you have to reward them. It's just how this whole thing works, okay? But servitude is number 3, okay? Number 4 is training, okay? Look, a lot of these girls are going to come into your life.
By the way, this is 10 minutes ad lib off the top of my head. The game is in me. There's no cue cards, there's nothing. I just wrote these fucking reminders on the board. I was like, we dropped game on these fucking children right now.
Oh yeah.
But I'm telling you, the guys are like, and the thing is, right? This is like deep, very detailed seduction information I'm giving here to the guys.
Right.
If they pull this off, though, like the quality of your life, at least 5x's at a bare minimum.
Right.
You know, if once you figure out the dating thing and if you figure out how to lead a girl, like my problem in relationships now is like, damn, I don't want this girl to fall in love with me and break her heart, man. And then like, you know, I don't feel so sad for this girl.
Yeah, my challenge is, will the girl be able to be that compliment to my life long term, not just for like the next few months or 6 months?
Yeah,
and trying to predict that and mold that so I'm not breaking her heart, you know, a year or two or something later. You know what I mean? Which has been, because that's been a challenge. you know, because I'm giving them the best experiences they've had. But then if they can't really maintain that growth and they run into a point where they demonstrate that they're just not capable to be that person, which you think would be easy, but just isn't sometimes, right? Like they're all have these fucking problems and you end up having to break up, which is fine. And I will say, like, let me just say for guys, right? The measure of success in a relationship is not how long you stay together. It's the quality of the relationship while you're together. Okay. So for the dumbasses who think that, no offense by saying that, but it's like there's this misconception. Oh, I've been married for 20 years. Yeah. But you haven't had sex with her in the last 6 months, right? Like this is not a good relationship. You had a good relationship for 2 and a shitty relationship for 18 years. You're not successful. That sucks. And a lot of times, it's not a shitty relationship. It's a subpar, mediocre relationship. It's like being stuck in a dead end job. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, you're successful because you've got your 2% raise every year for the company that's paying you, you know, average wage or slightly above average. You're not escalating your life. You're stuck in a dead end thing. And you know what? It's better to be stuck in a dead end job than a dead end relationship. That's for fucking sure. And so it is not a mistake to break up 2-3 years into things. That is actually when a guy is doing that, he's demonstrating frame. He's demonstrating a high standards. You know what I mean? It's sometimes a relationship is good for the time that you have them, but not good for long term. If he's having great experiences with women, and that's you two who are listening, if you're having great experiences with women and you get into LTRs and it's a great experience until it starts to not be and you have to end it, that is success. That's not a failure, because the failure would be sticking around for years and years when that relationship starts to go south and never getting any better. That's what happens to a lot of guys, right? So like either the relationship continues to get better and continues to grow. It's not a dead end job, right? Or the relationship fizzles out and that's okay. And you end it and get to enjoy being single again. That's your road to success. And don't believe, one last thing on this, don't believe in the hype out there that like you're going to get old and your options are done. Let me tell you something. I got to tell you about my mom, dude. Like my mom is with the best guy she's ever been with, and they remarried. She is 75 years old. Okay. And now my mom sucked with relationships. That was her thing. Okay. No offense, mom, if you ever watch me on YouTube, but she will not because she's 75 years old. Thank God.
My shitty channel's shadow banned. She won't find it.
Yeah, she won't find me anyways. Shadow banned. But like my mom is a great person. She did a lot of self-work and growth, but struggled in her relationships for a number of different reasons. But she found her peak relationship in her 70s. And this guy is in his peak relationship. Like I had a chance over the holidays to talk with him more like one-on-one and just like hang out with him. He's a really cool dude. I genuinely enjoy hanging out with him. Like hanging out with him and my mom is cool. Like I actually like it. It's not like, oh, I got to see my parents or something. Right. So got to know about this guy a little bit, his history and some of those things. He never married. He never fully submitted to a woman, which is probably why he's got my mom under control, right? And his peak relationship really is with her, and I think it sounds like he means it based on his history, and he just never settled for subpar. And now he's 75, and he's going to grow old. They're going to grow old together in happiness. All right. So this idea that like, oh man, I'm getting older, I better fucking, settle, with this girl that's doing in the subpar relationship where no matter what I do to try to change it, she sabotages that change. No, don't do it. You don't have to settle at any age. You're not going to die alone. You're not going to be miserable. In fact, if you don't settle, you're going to be happier. Trust me. So oh, your mic again, bro.
It's just such a tricky game with helping guys out, because I don't think the average. I'm still wrestling with the idea of how many guys have actually given up, because it looks they've given up because of a PSYOP. Really, that's what it boiled down to.
That's what it is.
They gave up because of a PSYOP, and the fucking, because there's opportunity in America to make money. There's opportunity to get educated. There's opportunity to get good job. And you can find women just by talking. Poor ugly people are having sex every day. Like you guys, you can find a cute girl. There's one out there.
They're everywhere. Well, here's the thing too, man. Like, I think the reason the PSYOP has really taken hold has been twofold. It's not just the feminism. I think that's a big part of it, in like the anti-message against men. That is part of it. But I think the other part of it too is these sort of, we'll call it success porn grifters, right? The guys who are out there making really cool, flashy videos that make themselves look cool. And then they're promising this lifestyle and promising the world. And then you get into a program with them and it's under-delivered, right? They're not actually, they're getting information, but they're not getting the components that would allow them to be successful. And so they end up following a tribe, following a program for a while, following a iconic leader of some sort, and they don't, but their life doesn't change very much. The women in their life, things don't really change for them. Maybe for some guys in that little program it did, but then like a whole bunch of them it didn't, because the program was revolved around the person leading the program and the light and the smoke and mirrors, the Instagram story, all that cool shit. Look, I'm on a fucking boat, or I'm doing this cool thing. And, and it's the business grifters too, right? Like the success guys, right? And all that. And so like that has happened and been repeated so often with got lots of guys not getting results. And now it's like, I don't have anything to look forward to. I don't even have any hope, because I see this guy on a cool boat with a bunch of hoes, or, doing a field thing, like field report, going picking up on some girl or whatever, or driving a fucking badass car. Like I see that stuff and I think, well, that's just the guy who's taking people's money, because my life's not going to be any different. Like it's a hopelessness. The reality is, as cool it is to do cool videos, right? We're not promoting that like you and I. We're promoting you to live your own life the way you want, and we're going to give you the tools. You're going to elevate your life, whatever fucking position in life you're in. If you're fucking broke right now, we'll tell you how to make more money. We'll tell you how to do some shit to elevate yourself. You fucking are an incel right now with this mindset of, failure and a lot of fucking emotional baggage. We'll point you in the right direction. We'll pull you out of that shit. You just have to want to do it. You just have to do it, and never fucking give up. Like never give up. I can't understand. That's one thing I struggle with. I get why they're signing off, and I get the depression because of the hopelessness. But what I don't get is the giving up. I'm just not a person who quits. I don't understand quitting. I don't get, and that has been a detriment to me. I've stayed a trajectory for too long at points, because not knowing when to shift a gear or direction, because I'm such an anti-quitter. I won't quit shit. Yeah. And so I have a real hard time with that, guys who just straight fucking quit. But don't be that.
I really think, that's like you said, I think the 1/3 number is probably accurate. They have just, because they're paying $50 for like AI girlfriends on Telegram to text them.
Yeah.
$50 a month subscription fee.
So weird. It's so fucking weird, dude.
Yeah. We got to make some AI girlfriend bots.
I guess so. That's what we got to do. Maybe what we should do, dude? Check this out. Business idea. Someone in the audience who knows tech and shit. Let's do this. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to create AI girlfriend bots that are difficult ass women that shit test and challenge, so guys can like spar. You know what I mean? Learn their game skills.
Great idea.
It's kind of pretty good, right? Like
that is a great idea. That is a
practice texting idea. A girl who's gonna fucking ghost you and be a dumbass, and then you have to like
conflict resolution girlfriend 2.0.
Yeah, dude. That's actually
The
kind of
third,
cool.
we upgraded it to 3.0. She like swings, a frying pan at you now.
Yeah,
too.
she follows you to the gym and pops your tires when you're in the inside or whatever, puts a brick through your window, fucking girlfriend, right? Like AI.
Oh my god, that's a great idea. That is actually a great idea.
It actually is a pretty good idea. I don't know how to execute that one. We got to partner up with
AI.
somebody who knows how to make apps and shit, right? Like what the
Yeah,
fuck?
like a Riz training bot.
Yeah. Yeah. The submissive wife training bot, so and then you could get different difficulty levels, right? Like the hot goth girl who got molested when she was a kid and she has too many tattoos. She's like on hard mode, you know what I mean? Like she's the hard mode girl, like she's borderline personality disorder, and you have to like really fucking deal with it, like, you got to try to turn her into like a traditional conservative woman. Like that's the game, right?
That's fucking hilarious, bro. Yeah, you just have to go from one religion to another,
Right. She's like, I'm Wiccan or some bullshit, or whatever. Like, oh boy, here we go.
God, your father fucking, what happened to you? That's every time I beat a crazy bitch. Now I'm just like, what happened to you? Like, what is your, traumatizing event?
Right.
I was, I had a main girl since 2016 to like 22, 23, who was just a normal girl, normal family. Dad loved her. Dad had a household just from the countryside of Japan, and then I started meeting all these psychopaths out in Tokyo, all these traumatized fucking Japanese girls. And I'm just like, wow, it is like slim pickings out here for a quality person, even for me. But you got to do volume, because before I met her, I talked to like 500 plus chicks probably, but running into her and having that stretch, that was fucking phenomenal. Yeah. So I think, yeah, you guys out there afraid of girls, you can't. You just have to start talking to girls. Every approach doesn't need to be like, that needs to be like a one shot, like, a no scope fucking headshot. Like, I've got to get it perfect on the first try. No, just go make the effort to talk to women consistently around when you're around, and do it with social grace. And then, learn how to pick up a girl and bang her when you like her. It's such a good feeling. Such a good feeling.
Right. And you'll see that forest, you'll see the trees in the forest, versus just, not seeing anything and being in your own head. You know what I mean? Oh, what do I say on this approach or whatever? Like, you're in your own head. Just say, there's a point where you don't even think about what to say, because you don't need to think about it. You just know what to say,
You are the game. There is no line. It's just like, you are the line. Like when I saw this one girl, the dirty dishes bitch, right? So I picked her up from the street. She's hot. She's hot. She's a little hot little thing too. She knows she's hot. But I picked her up the street, took her to like have drinks like a couple days later, banged her, right? But on the street, when I first walked up to her, I could just feel through her proximity to me and her body language that she wanted me to talk to her. She had headphones in, so so everybody's like, oh, language barrier. Oh, they have headphones in. Oh, they're a stranger. Oh, what if she's busy? I just walked up to her. I was just like, hey, because I knew what she wanted, and then she was just like, oh, okay, she was doing her thing, and we exchanged information, and it was good just to get that off of my chest too, just to know you can just pick one up midday. I don't know. I like having sex with hot girls, and when you talk to the American guys about this, like, it's such a foreign concept to them, because they don't go outside America and see, like, there's just gorgeous women everywhere, and they want to meet that guy.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. I don't understand, but this is why
this week, guy epidemic is global. It's in Asia too. It's happening in Thailand. It's happening in Vietnam, Korea, Japan, China.
Yep.
The week
this is my biggest. Global. Yeah, this is why I'm in some ways, which is why I'm although I'm really arguably an expert in human behavior in persuasion, I struggle sometimes with marketing, because we talked about this before. I'm trying to predict So marketing is not a two-way conversation with another person, which I can persuade in, like, that's sales. We could, to use a business example, I'm excellent at sales. In fact, I used to be a sales trainer at different parts of my life. I mean, the persuasion skills I have work well for that. But like with marketing, you're having a one-way conversation with groups of people, and you have to predict what those groups of people are going to do and speak to them and predict what that response is so that they would come over to your side, watch more of your stuff. In my case, get into a coaching program. And it is so difficult for me to understand some of these fucking guys who are like, I can't talk to women, or I can't try to talk to women, or I'm like the 1/3 that have just checked out. I'm like, I need to, if that's you, in fact, if that's you, like, jump into my school community for free and just fucking talk to me. Like, what's going on with you? Like, I don't get it. Like, I have a hard time because I came from a different era and I have all these skills, and I'm not somebody, I don't know I don't know how somebody checks out like that. You know what I mean? Unless they're 90 years old and they don't care anymore. Like, I don't understand. If you're like a 30-year-old guy who's like building his life up and you can't go talk to girls, what the fuck is going on? You got to talk to me. Come tell me what's going on in your mind. You know what I mean? I do get those clients who do make that appointment, but
That's
a lot
good.
of the guys,
They need to. I mean, these guys, like, it sounds like we're grifting, but
right.
like these guys don't understand. They are cooked categorically, with all due respect, gentlemen. If you're not getting some sort of one-on-one training with us or the Masculine Empowerment Network, and city, because we give you guys FaceTime, we sit down and talk to you one-on-one, which a lot of these guys don't do. There's I'm sorry,
That's hugely important, right?
I've been calling these things lately. I call them the Miami influencers, and no offense to these guys, I think they're trying their best. But these Miami dating coach influencers are saying, like, oh, you need 6-pack abs, you need $100,000 a year, you need
so stupid. You don't need any of that shit.
Your dick needs to be this big, like, and these people in Miami have no idea how they even sound to people outside of living in Miami. They have no idea how crazy they sound.
That's so retarded. That's so dumb. You don't need any of that shit. I'm not saying like you chasing value, a guy chasing value and making himself better. Do that for you, dude. I never got physically fit for a girl. I got physically fit because I fought in martial arts and then eventually joined the military and wanted to do jobs that required physical fitness, and I wanted to excel in that. I mean, like, I did it for me. I did it for my jobs. I did it for, wanting to be better for myself, not for some girl. Looking better was a in getting girls to like me because of it was a consequence of doing something for me. Accumulating wealth. Dude, here's the thing. Like, most people, a lot of guys accumulate wealth because they want more opportunities with women. But like, when you understand the game, like, you could be a broke ass dude having girls making money for you and bringing you fucking money. It's pimp game. I used to run fucking pimp game. This fucking weird white guy over here running pimp game. I used to do that without really realizing I was kind of doing that. And I cut some of that off because it really does lead to kind of a degeneracy. And I wanted to build something that's mine, not have just girls doing shit and making all the money. But like, it's crazy. Like, you don't need, that's a meme. You don't need all the shit that people say. You need the persuasion and the seduction skills. Making your life better, you need to do as well, but you need to do it for you, not for some girl. You need to have your own money for yourself, right? So you can build a life you want. You need to have, if you like cars and you want to buy a fucking cool car, you're doing that for you, dude, not to get a girl. 6-pack abs should be a goal that you want because you feel better looking better. The way you dress, you feel better dressing higher value, and it gives you a feeling of being successful and all those things. That's why, not for a girl. Like, what the fuck, right? Like, the girl is, you make her feel good with your seduction skills and communication skills and sex skills and the things you do to bond in a relationship. That's your currency. Never make your currency your bank account, even if you're a multimillionaire. Your currency, don't make, she needs to be with you because she wants your dick, not your money, right? Like that's you know, you have to approach it like that, my opinion. Yeah.
Yep. It's and for the ladies watching, this is so easy. This is like the ideal. Like this is what guys will tolerate these days. Guys would be so happy to get this. And I'm telling you, once you have your game, this is a dime a dozen. You can get this like at the drop of a hat.
Oh
and
yeah.
then, you know, demand more. But it's so it's what I'm noticing too. Like my friend, he's a good looking lawyer guy, and he's like this Arab Chad, not Arab, Persian Chad, and he has a fitness brand, Lou, the lifting lawyer, right? He's a really good looking guy. And he's telling me now in New York, like women are like tag teaming him and like passing women off to him. And I'm telling you, it's happening to you where you're at. It's happening to me when I go to the States. I'm telling you, women in America, because in 2030, 50% of all the women in America are going to be single. You know what that means for players? It's fucking like it's upset. We're
time, dude.
It's time to clean up, like
For sure.
You know,
I know, dude. It's
you know?
and even if here's the other part. Even if you are in a long-term relationship and want to build a life with a girl that's like your partner in crime kind of thing till you get old, if that's what you want, having opportunity with women outside of that relationship keeps that relationship in check. Even if you're monogamous, you're not sitting there going, I have to put up with this person's bullshit and terrible behavior because if I go back out in the dating world's going to be terrible. No. Make me go ahead in all my relationships. It's like, fucking give me the gift of being single. Like, I'll miss you in a couple weeks when I'm done going, I lost my relationship. I'm single again. That's the benefit. I'm single again. I got all of the opportunity in the world. Go ahead and fuck around and find out. You know what I mean? Like, I hope the girl that I get an LTR with, and I'm in an LTR with, is the girl. But if she's going to prove not to be, I like being single. I like having that freedom and having opportunities with other women. And it's great. It's a great feeling. You know what I mean? It's like entering a new investment opportunity or something. It's fucking great. And so like, that's what you get with a sexual marketplace with women who are starving to have that right kind of guy. Even if you are like, well, okay, but I'm in a relationship. No, your frame in the relationship is enhanced because other women would date you and you would have that opportunity because now it's just something that's there. She has that reason to think, okay, like he's not going to just put up with me if I'm going to be a terrible relationship partner. You know what I mean? So Cola's saying, what should we obtain by doing these courses? I'm trying to understand are you asking us what you'll get out of the courses, or are you asking us what you should get before getting in the courses? Does that make sense? Like the way that's worded is weird to me.
I think what you're going to get by completing it. Well, listen, bro.
Okay.
We're going to give you the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
We're going to teach you how to get pussy on your own.
Well, so what you obtain is life skills that you'll carry with you the rest of your life. Here's the thing, like none of us, this is a different mindset, and some people are going to get scared of this and not like it because it involves facing death at some point, which many of you cannot do. But you are not shit. I'm going to tell you, out of you listening, and this is me too, so don't be all included. We're not fucking shit, dude. None of us. Even if I was billionaire guy who influenced all these people, that just means I'm a speck of dirt, a speck of human life on a rock who happens to have a couple $1 billion, that I affect a few other specks of human life in a window of time that's fucking nothing on a rock flying through space. I'm going to be dead and it's going to be fucking done. And that's all I am. And that's it. And I'm not shit. Neither are you motherfuckers. Right. So what's important was then, first of all, what are you ashamed of? And what are you afraid of? You're not shit anyway. Okay. You're fucking nothing. Anyway.
She's got headphones on. I can't cold approach her. She's got headphones on.
Yeah, what the fuck are you afraid of? You aren't shit. What do you have to be ashamed of? Is there an expectation that you're supposed to be awesome? You're not. You're even the most awesome person on this planet right now is still a speck of life, not much different than you out of 7 billion of these little specks of life that's going to be over in a second, and nobody's going to fucking care about it once that happens. So now that we gotten that out of the way, and that you're going to die someday and that's it, what the fuck is important? What's important is what's happening right now. What's important is your experiences right now and the experiences that others get to have because you influence them through your charity, through your kindness, through your frame, through your friendship, your business relationships, your sexual relationships. What happens now, and your influence others so that they have the experience and good experiences now. That's what matters. And then when you're investing in yourself, you're investing in your experiences in the future, because that's what's going to matter. You're learning skills. You take Masculine Empowerment Network. You have wealth building skills because there's some wealth management experts that are going to be there. You'll have game skills and relationship skills and mindset stuff for goal setting. Fitness, I think, might be in there this time. I haven't looked at the full list, but it's usually money, muscles, frame, and game. Those 4 things, there's experts being brought in over a period of 2 weeks, and they're going to impart with you not bullshit, not dreams, not avatars, or hey, look at this video of me in a Lamborghini. Okay, it's skill sets so you can have better experiences right now and better experiences in the future, because that's all you fucking have. And so it's worth more than the price you're going to fucking pay. And what you're going to walk away is skill sets that you didn't have before. I don't care who you are and what you have. I'm an expert in certain areas. If I go do the lifting lawyer's basic business law for the entrepreneur, I'm going to benefit tremendously from that. Even though I'm on this panel, I don't know shit that this guy knows about that topic. I'm going to enhance my life for my experiences today and in the future just by that one little session there. And you can go through all of these different things. Even if you are a crypto person doing this crypto course here, that's in one of the sessions, you'll probably learn something. Or it'll probably, if you're not learning something, that's your fault. You're fucking up, dude. Like, honestly, I can go into something. Oh, your mic's off again, John. Sorry.
Sorry, I was muted. The value of the network is even super valuable for me. But you know what? I was talking to somebody else earlier today, and we were just telling how like people are just graduating out of this because they're getting. I think it was you. Like people are just they just have girlfriends and they're getting girls and they don't need to come back anymore. That's why this is such a successful program, because like people come through it once or twice and then
which is great and a great testament, but I would recommend, though, I don't, because you can always track what people do when they're gone. But if you're listening, and you're one of those guys, I recommend that you, even if things are going well, that's when you want to circle back around. You're always doing something for your self-development. And you don't want to wait till shit's falling apart for you then to pick up on something. Like, the best game skill development I had in my life was when I was killing it with women, not when I couldn't get girls, which was a long time ago for me at this point. But there's a time when I was terrible with women and I learned some skills to get them, but I elevated my skills when I worked on those skills and trained and learned things from other experts during a time when I was doing well with women. A person who is doing well with money and who's an entrepreneur right now is going to do better coaching and entrepreneurship versus when they just got started, because they already have an understanding of the business landscape and the things they need to know. Now they're going to talk to an expert that will open their minds up to different ways of thinking that they didn't see before, which will cause them to take actions in their life that they wouldn't have taken, and they will enhance their success. So like, it's worth it, even if things are going well for you, to invest in yourself in whatever area that is that you think would be good. And don't wait till you're struggling. Do it when you're doing well, because that will exponentially elevate you in that area, so that you won't ever struggle again. You're now just going to be at another level, experiencing life at another level. That's my recommendation for you guys. Don't wait till you're broken to try to fix something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man. I mean, especially look at this software I have here. You can think this is pretty cool. Look at this. So what this does, this is a language mapper of all of what people are talking about on crypto Twitter, right? So you can see through here. So this is cool. This is called token Mindshare. So we'll click here and you can see what token that Twitter is mainly talking about. So 10%, the top one is ranked about the size of these things.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's like 10%, what people talk about, 7% Ethereum, Solana, and then you have these, these are meme coins, fart
Jesus
coins.
Christ, that's fucking crazy, dude.
It's wild,
that's
right?
Awesome. That's fucking wild, dude.
And then
that is fucking wild, man. Yeah.
They're talking about AI as the main narrative this time with crypto. 45% of all crypto Twitter is talking about it. So we're gonna be talking about this, the webinars too. Like, so stuff people that aren't even aware of, we're gonna show you, like, how to make money with crypto. And I just honestly, I love going to the meetups. We're gonna go to Hawaii in March.
Nice, dude. That sounds sick.
Yeah, for a mastermind. You should come. Just give me
if
I
can, I will. That'd be fucking great.
I think we'll wrap it up there. We've been going 2 hours.
Yeah, I need to go get some sex. It is Saturday. Or
I'll
else.
get it. I'm gonna go get some morning booty myself. Yeah. All right, boys. Listen, if you like me and you like Paul, we're going live next on starting January 6th, the Masculine Empowerment Network. We have the full schedule on the website as well. So the link in the chat, if you click on that, that's the link to go to the website. You check it out right here. I'll put it on the screen. And it's also pinned. You can find it. But all you get is here. We're closing on 30th, right before it turns midnight. And then the new year, I'm going to probably go to Hawaii and have a party.
Nice. Hey, also go to Apex Mindset on YouTube and subscribe there. I want to throw that out there because,
I subscribed earlier on the show. I showed you guys. So, again, go to Paul's website. Do not forget. Right here.
Yeah.
Apex Mindset.
Yeah. Just the YouTube. Because, YouTube will not put you in orbit. They just don't fucking like me. So you have to get my stuff by going there physically and doing it.
Check out his latest video when he talks here about cucking, cheating, being the bull problem. That got 37,000 views 3 weeks ago. Really good video. Check it out. If you're worried about your girl cheating on you in the future, that's a good video there.
Right.
So, all right, boys. Until then, we'll catch you next time. Peace out.